At some point in every investor's career, you're going to deal with this seesaw problem. The seesaw problem is either you have too much money and not enough deals, or too many deals and not enough money. Either way, you're going to have to deal with that. And in today's video, I'm going to assume that you have all of the money that you need. You just have to find more deals. So let's figure out how to get you guys more deals. Hey guys, welcome to the Hoan Zone, where we help you multiply the assets that you own. And I'm Hoan. I've been investing for the last 10 years, and I've definitely dealt with the seesaw problem of having either too much money and not enough deals, or having too many deals and not enough money. So today I'm going to tell you guys about my journey and how I've been able to solve this problem. So when you guys find yourself to become a little bit more experienced in this business, you will find yourself with the problem of having too much money. And I hope one day you guys get there if you've never experienced it before. But you're going to have so much money available to you that you're not going to have enough deals to actually buy. So what do? You ramp up how many properties you can actually buy. But how do you do that? Well, let's talk about where the properties actually come from. Well, they come from the owners. The owners are who gets to sell the properties. Now, the owners could either be a private individual, or it could be someone like a bank where they have REOs, real estate owned. And these are properties that they've taken back from the foreclosure process. Now they own them and they want to sell them. Banks don't like to own properties. They like to have loans on properties. So they much rather just sell the properties versus holding on to them. But either way, you're going to have to deal with the owner, whether it's a private person or if it's a bank. So now the real question is, how do you get in touch with these owners? Now, in the past, interestingly enough, people are like, Hoan, I need to make some money. How can I help you? And I go, find me a deal. And they go out and they find these properties, and then they look up the taxes and they say, Hoan, these properties, they have so much in back taxes. They owe so much money. Can we just pay off the taxes and get the properties? The answer is no. You can't do it like that. You can't just pay off someone's taxes and say, okay, I own the property now. It doesn't work that way. You got to actually get in touch with the owner and tell them like, hey, I see you own this property. You have a bunch of back taxes. Maybe you can sell me the property and stop losing money, because the taxes are going to just keep incurring, and you're going to be worse and worse off over time. So now let's talk about how we get in touch with the actual owner. So let's talk about the private individuals. So when it comes to a private individual, how do you find them? Well, you can do things like mailers, you can do cold calling, you can have a billboard, you can do a door knocker, you can actually knock on the door, or you can actually walk around and talk to neighbors. So there's a lot of different ways to get in touch with these owners. And when you get in touch with them, you can say, hey, I buy properties in this area and I'm interested in your property. Are you interested in selling? That is kind of the shotgun approach. The more specific approach, the more like sniper approach, would be to look up properties based on certain characteristics. One of them being back taxes, like I said. So you might look at the tax records and see properties that owe a lot of money for taxes, and then you can contact the owners of these properties. So you go, hey, I see that you owe a lot of taxes on this property. Are you interested in selling? Other ones that people look for are people who are in pre-foreclosure because of their mortgage. Maybe they haven't been paying their mortgages recently, so they're on a list. You get a copy of this list, and then you go mail this person, or you do a little skip tracing, right? That's a term where you're digging up the information on the owners, and then you contact them in a different way. Maybe you call them directly because their phone number is listed. Maybe you call their brother or sister because their brother or sister's phone number is listed. Either way, you're trying to get in contact with the owner because of a specific problem that they're dealing with. The other thing is that properties are always going to be on sale because of the four main D's. First D is death. Sometimes someone dies, and then there's going to be someone who inherits the property, right? So death. Next one is disease. Sometimes the owner gets sick, they go into the hospital, they need some money, so they sell the property. So that's disease. Disaster. Sometimes things happen in the person's life, or sometimes things happen at the person's house. So maybe a hurricane comes through, maybe there's a fire, maybe there's a flood, maybe a contractor completely messed up the property, maybe a tenant completely messed up the property. Either way, there's some kind of disaster, and they want to sell it for that reason. And then the final D is divorce. So sometimes husbands and wives or whoever, they split up, and then they have all of these assets, and instead of trying to say, hey, you get this house, you get that house, there's only one house, they have to sell the property, and then they can split the proceeds versus trying to cut a house in half. Don't do that. Just sell the house, and then you guys can split the money. So divorce oftentimes is why people sell the houses. So those are the 4 Ds: death, disease, disaster, and divorce. Now, if you don't want to go out there and target people specifically, you can do another way, which is a little bit more passive approach, which is branding yourself as a real estate investor, someone who buys properties and buys properties regularly. One of the things that sellers look for is certainty. When they're looking to sell a property, they want to know that the person that they're dealing with is just going to buy it and all of their headaches just go away. And that's how I get a lot of my properties. People know me as a person who actually buys properties. And because of that, people like dealing with me. I come with cash, I can close quick, or I can close slow. Whatever it is, whatever they need, I do that. And if the property's all messed up, if it's filled with trash, if it's filled with furniture, I say just leave it, I will take care of it. So I solve their problems by buying the properties from them. They like that certainty. When a person lists a house with a real estate agent, there is a lot of uncertainty. Will it actually sell? Will it require a lot of work? Will it fail the inspection? There's all of these uncertainties. People don't like that. That's why they like to sell to people like me. So if you're that kind of person who wants to take the more passive approach, well, you're going to have to create a brand for yourself. How do people find out that you actually buy properties? What are you saying on social media, on YouTube? What is it that people know you for? What you post really matters in this regard, because if you're always posting funny cat memes or something like that, nobody's going to take you seriously and nobody's going to know that you're actually looking to buy properties. But if you're constantly talking about real estate and maybe you're showing people that, hey, I'm looking at this property to buy, looking at this property to buy, and you can take pictures of yourself in front of the properties, or even better yet, take a video, walk around the property, take a video, show that you're looking at properties. When somebody has a property for sale, they're going to think of you. Now, I tell a lot of people that strategy to post on social media that you are a real estate investor. The thing is, people will do it once or twice and go, Hoan, it doesn't work. Well, the problem is real estate's a slow moving vehicle. And because it's slow, people don't always have a property for sale. It's not like inventory. It's not like they have a whole bunch of socks to sell and they're always selling socks. People usually have one house and they sell one house every 10 years. Well, maybe the day you post it on social media is not the day that they have a house for sale. So you just have to keep on doing it until a house is available. Eventually, either the person who owns the house sees your video and goes, oh, you buy houses? Great, I'm selling a house. Or the other thing that happens is, oh, hey, I see that you buy houses. My mom, my aunt, my cousin, my coworker, someone else that I know is selling a house. Are you interested in buying it? And then they connect you. So then you get that referral, which is really cool too. But either way, you have to brand yourself, and you have to brand yourself long enough so that people actually have a space in their brain that you are a real estate investor. Now, if you don't want to do the active approach of sending mailers or doing cold calls, and you don't want to do the passive approach of branding yourself as such, then you have to create relationships. You have to network with people who are in the business of selling property. So that's your wholesalers and that's your real estate agents. These people go out there and they brand themselves. They do the mailers, they do the cold calling, they do all of that stuff, and then they have the lead. They have the seller who's interested in selling the property. So your job is to just contact them, meet with them, and show them that, hey, I'm a real buyer. So when you come across a property that fits my criteria, my little buy box, then please send that to me so that I can buy it. So that's the other way of doing it. So create a lot of good relationships with wholesalers and with real estate agents, and keep cultivating that relationship so that they don't forget about you. These wholesalers and these real estate agents, they talk to a ton of people. So they may talk to you today and you're at the top of their list, but then tomorrow they talk to the next person, and then the next person, the next person. Before you know it, you're down here because all of these new people just reached out. So your job is to reach back out and be at the top of that list again, and constantly invite them to different things that you're doing. Maybe you're seeing a property and you're like, hey, I want you to check this out with me. You can be my listing agent if I just choose to flip it, right? Or you can be my listing agent if I choose to rent it out. My leasing agent, you can find me my tenant, right? And so if you start working with people, they remember you, and then you will be at the top of the list when they get a property that fits within your buy box. Well, I gave you guys a bunch of different ideas to think about. Which one of these things are you going to do? Put that in the comment below. I'm interested to hear how you're going to go about finding more deals. And if you guys want one more strategy to find more properties, you guys can join my rental Property Multiplier Academy. My RPM Academy will give you leads to properties that are for sale. Sometimes people send me properties that I'm not interested in, whether it's because it's not in my area or it's just not the kind of properties I want to buy. I can send them to you guys, and it might fit within your buy box. Even though it doesn't fit in mine, it could fit in yours. So if it's in your buy box, there's another lead. You buy another property, you get richer because you're going to create your cash flow, you're going to create your net worth, you're going to just generate all of this extra money simply because you got to buy another property. And where you got that property from? By being in my program. So if you guys are interested in joining my academy, email me, hoan@hoanzone.com. Again, that's hoan@hoanzone.com. All right, guys, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm Hoan Tai. Let's multiply.